My adventures at E3 2016 were made possible by NVIDIA Australia and New Zealand. Hello again, I am Blunty. E3 2016, I am at the Razer booth because these guys are leading the charge for open source VR, and they have just announced a brand new developer kit headset which has upgraded pretty much everything across the board. I'm joined by Jevon here, who's going to run us through it.
Hey guys, hi, how are you? So we have the new HDK2 here today. The cool new thing about it is the display that we have. We're running a dual panel, 2160 by 1200 resolution. It's basically better than your average HD TV. On top of that, it runs at 90 Hz and it has a 110 degree field of view. So the screen's practically just wrapped around you, and wherever you look, it's just there. I mean, it immerses you within the virtual reality world.
Yeah, and that field of view thing is something very, very important because you've got headsets out there that have as little as 90 degree field of view, and it just feels like you're looking through a little porthole. I've just had a go with this one and it tracks really smoothly. It's nice and wide, and that 110 field of view really does sort of pay off. All right, so what is the sort of minimum specs people are going to need to have a good VR experience running on this thing?
Well, you can run it with a GTX 970 and above, 8 gigabytes of RAM and i5 processor.
Right, so most people out there are going to have a pretty easy time running this.
Yeah.
What's going to change about, say, the way this looks, for example? Is anything going to be adjusted for the sort of final consumer level device?
The first thing about the headset is this is actually the final look, but we did replace the OSVR lettering in front with HDK2. The thing is, OSVR is a software platform and it's an open ecosystem. We allow different brands of hardware to run on it, and this specific hardware is called the HDK2, so we wanted to kind of make that more apparent, clearer to people.
And that's an important distinction to make. This is an open source VR, so you're letting basically anyone come in and sort of build toward it.
The beautiful thing about the OSVR ecosystem is that we don't control what our hardware partners do.
Right.
They can make those options available. They can make premium options available, cheaper ones, anything that will satisfy the consumer market. The HDK comes in as kind of like in between, and it helps people get into VR at a reasonable price. I mean, it's priced at $400 USD. So it's a good starting point for the open ecosystem. It has all the benefits and advantages: controller options, content platform options like Steam VR.
Right. So the HDK2 is sort of your recommended serving size, but the other partners can sort of vary their offerings on either side of that.
Absolutely, and when they come in, we'll be there to make sure they get the proper support, marketing, promotion.
Right. And as far as game support goes, is it going to be running sort of on a OSVR storefront, or is it Steam VR compatible? Or
we don't control the way our partners want to distribute their content.
Right.
We do have a hub that directs people to the different types of content, but ultimately it's up to them on what they want to do.
And what do you need? I mean, the camera comes with it, or is it going to work with any standard web camera?
It comes with the headset, the camera tracking system. But that's a very interesting question. Moving forward, as we get more camera technologies into the ecosystem, people will be able to change it. It's kind of like going shopping for computer parts. I mean, it's a Sunday, you're bored, you walk in like, hey, wait a minute, this interesting camera, I want to get it, and that's exactly what we do with the ecosystem.
Right. Now, as far as controllers go, the other guys have got their individual motion controllers. Do you have some plans for that, or is it just BYO? Or?
Again, because of the ecosystem, we rely on our partners like Leap Motion, Nord Labs, Noitom to actually provide the controllers.
Right.
Yep.
So as far as API goes, the stuff the devs need to know to build their games on top of this, is there a specific sort of custom API for this?
Yep, it is a custom API. It runs on the OSVR SDK.
And presumably that's very, very similar to what's already out there, so if they're doing stuff for the other guys, they can port across to this pretty easily?
Exactly, yes.
Yeah, because the function, it's very, very similar to the abilities of the other headsets out there, so there's no dicking about to get games working on this nice and easily. And again, because it's open. Open. Say it with me. Look into the camera, say it open. 1, 2, 3. Open! Love it. And beyond just saying, here is the hardware, here is the system, you guys are actually actively developing people to make stuff for it with a developer fund, yeah?
Yep, exactly. We just announced the $5 million developer fund with the objective to bring VR content to all hardware. We want to fight DRM, we want to fight restrictions,
Right.
We want to make sure that the industry can grow evenly. And the dev fund is how to do it. It incentivizes developers to support our ecosystem.
Right.
And once the ecosystem goes with hardware, these hardware guys are going to come into the market. They're going to have content ready to go. They're going to sell a lot, and we're going to get the VR industry going.
So again, good guy OSVR, good guy Razer, $5 million, not to just make stuff for this, but to make VR work, make VR better, get more stuff out there, get games and applications and experiences and all that kind of stuff. That, I mean, come on, I have to give them a thumb up for that. So what type of availability are we talking? What's the timeline looking like?
July. That's
July.
when, yeah, we're going to be releasing it in July.
So thanks very much for talking to me here. I am super excited about this and super enthusiastic about open source VR. I keep saying it, the word open, over and over again. It's so important because unless this thing is open, anybody can do it, and the devs are free to do what they need to do and all that kind of stuff, VR's not going to work properly. If you try and cut off a little corner of it, it's just going to cause confusion and segment the market, and it's frustrating is what it is. And so open source VR, super enthusiastic about it, and you should be too. Thanks very much, mate.
Thanks.
It's been an absolute pleasure.